Hi guys, we're here with a gigantic phone which measures almost 700 grams. It's a robust and rugged device, but the kicker is that it has a projector here at the top side. You're going to see it in action at the end of the review. It's called the Blackview XPLORE 2 projector. It's got those camping lights at the backside, a gigantic 20,000 mAh battery, extra buttons, a rugged body, and everything is about 3 centimeters thick. So in the following minutes I'm going to review the handset. It's quite special, and of course the price is, I would say, rather mid-range, around 500 euros. So first things first, this handset weighs a hefty 670 grams. It's even heavier than some tablets. For example, Huawei has a new 12-inch tablet which weighs 555 grams. And yeah, that's pretty impressive, but at the same time it's very robust and rugged. You can drop it, it can survive extreme temperatures, vibrations, drops, of course water, because it's got those lids on top of its ports. Now I should probably also mention that it measures 29 millimeters in thickness, 2.9 centimeters. The body is made of reinforced polycarbonate as well as metal for extra durability. It's even military certified at the military standard STD 810H. Resilient water and dust in the IP68 and IP69K. So yeah, the phone can even take heated jets of water at high power without a problem. Now on the sides of the handset you can also find a ventilation grill here at the top side for the projector, which is pretty important. It will eliminate the heat from the projector, which is something that usually happens when you have a projector on the device. The fan turns on when you're actually using the projector. We also have an infrared emitter here at the top side. Once again, a pretty solid build for the phone and a lot of buttons. So we have the power button here, we have another exhaust here for the heat. You have here the tray, is the SIM card tray, and the micro SD. You have here a small wheel to set up the projector. We also have this extra button which we can tweak, and of course the volume buttons, and at the bottom a port. Here you can put a lanyard on it if you want. Now when everything's said and done about the design, definitely rugged and robust. You can take it in the jungle, in the forest, it will survive with ease. Now let's talk about the display. The screen you can see here is of the AMOLED variety, 6.73 inches in diagonal, a resolution which is QHD+, quite impressive, and it embeds a fingerprint scanner. The refresh rate is 120 Hz, and the bezels are, to be honest, pretty thick, but the phone is also thick and beefy for the sake of protection. The selfie camera is cut in a punch hole at the top side. The experience is actually quite pleasant for this screen. I have a video here. You can watch it in action on the panel. Obviously, you can also do the projector, but more about that later on. We have wide view angles, excellent colors, and an excellent contrast. The brightness went above my expectations. We also have TUV SUD certification, so it emits less blue light in order to protect the eyes of the user. There's also an extra dim mode if you want, for the moments when the brightness is actually too much, and also a reading mode. Now we actually the measurement here, and you're going to see that it has quite a few lux units, 1175 lux units, better than a Nothing Phone 2a, Honor 400 Lite, and even the Honor 400 Pro. So quite the bright screen. Now let's talk about the innards of the phone. Starting off with the MediaTek Dimensity 8300 processor, which you have here. It's a 4nm CPU, and it's accompanied in this case by 12 gigs of RAM and 256 gigabytes of storage. There's also a version with 16 gigs of RAM and 1 terabyte of storage. It's LPDDR5X and UFS 4.0. You also have a card slot here up to 2 terabytes, which is pretty impressive. Now the benchmarks aren't bad if you're going strictly to compare it to a mid-range device. So in Antutu 10, here we are above the Google Pixel 9a, Galaxy Z Flip 5, which is actually not bad, while in a CPU throttling test we lost only 21% performance. I've seen Snapdragon 8 Elite phones losing 40 or 50%. Geekbench 6 in the multi-core test, just above the Pixel 8 Pro and Huawei Pura 80 Ultra. Once again, not bad. It's beating flagships from 1 or 2 years ago. If you want to talk about the temperature, we didn't go past 37.8 degrees Celsius in benchmarks, which in my book is quite fine, so definitely no overheating. It also helps that we have those vents available here. Now on the battery side of things, things are pretty amazing. We have a 20,000 mAh unit, and I did an unconventional test for it. So we have this projector here on the top side, which is 480p, and one of the most amazing things about this battery is that it charges at 120 watts via wire. We can also juice up other devices with its port from here. You can see the USB-C at 10 watts, so basically it's a big power bank. Okay, so you may be wondering how I tested this large battery. If I would have had it to do a video playback, it would have lasted 4 days, but I actually had it do just projector video playback. 7 hours and 36 minutes of continuous projector video playback with 15% battery left, so you can easily reach 8 or maybe even 9 hours of continuous projector usage. On paper, Blackview promises 10 hours, so we're just about there. Other promises from Blackview: 75 days of standby without using the device, 36 hours of normal usage, 24 hours of browsing, up to 166 hours of calls. So pretty amazing. But the charging was the one that impressed me the most. 1 hour and 51 minutes for a, pay attention, full charge. From 0 to the full charge of 20,000 mAh. And in just 30 minutes you have 43%, which should be good enough for your average day-to-day use. Sadly, PC Mark didn't run on this device. I've seen that happen recently. The app is pretty old now, has 4 years, so yeah, it may not run on exactly everything we want it to run on. Now, as far as the speakers are concerned, things are pretty weird here. You would expect to have a bottom speaker and a top speaker, either this one or the earpiece. Well, not. It's only here at the back side that we find the speaker. Let's put it to the test. Honestly, a lot of bass and a lot of volume, but the high notes weren't hitting me that hard. This is the decibel meter test. 84.3 decibels, above older iPhones. Let's see, with 84.3 decibels, we also surpassed a few handsets like, let's try something new here maybe. I see we surpassed the Galaxy S20 Plus, the Huawei Mate 10 Pro. Nothing exactly new here from what I see. Still, we tested 600 phones, so it being 200 plus is a pretty high praise nowadays. Google Pixel 2 XL was surpassed. I'm also curious to see where it falls in line with this decibel value. So 84.3 decibels. It's the equal of some old-view phones and also some older iPhones, and just below the Galaxy S7, Zenfone 6, Galaxy A80, and a few other such models, and the Razer Phone 2. When it comes to multimedia, which is gaming, I would say that's rather modest, 85.8, although in real life it feels more potent. This is not very impressive if you want gaming, particularly since we're also lacking stereo, but you should be able to connect a pair of headphones if not. So at the end of the day, a lot of bass, not many high notes, and volume is overpowering at times. Now let's talk about the camera. Okay, so let's get going. First things first, we have a front 50 megapixel camera, which is pretty amazing resolution wise, while at the back side we have a main 50 megapixel camera and a 20 megapixel camera with night vision. We also have AI and LED flash here. They're enclosed in an area covered with glass, and if you look at the options of the camera, there's quite a few of them, and I would say quite a simple interface. So we have mono capture, slow motion, panorama, pro, and portrait. We have a night mode, we have a beautify option, we also have the picture mode, regular one with HDR, we have the video mode. Yes, you can shoot 4K as you can see here, and even 4K 60, and of course full 50 megapixel resolution. Several other things here. The main sensor here is a Samsung GN9 f1.88 aperture, 20 megapixel Sony sensor. It's promoted as night vision, but honestly I didn't find any special option here aside from the night mode. And I will not insist too much on the photos because the core of the experience here is the projector, the multimedia, and things like that. Okay, so let me just maybe find the photos and show you. I would say it's a rather mid-range experience for the handset. These are the camera shots. By the way, we also have a special thermal sensor which can detect the heat and temperature of objects with differences between them. This is 28 degrees, this is 90 degrees. It's a FLIR thermal camera. It's useful now in the colder season to see which parts of your pipes are getting hotter and which are cooler when you're turning on the heat. As far as the photos, once again, nothing special. Maybe something you would see on a Motorola, which would cost 200 or 300 euros. Now let me just find the auto rotate and we should be all good to go. So here they are. Very contrasty, the contrast is pretty intense, but the colors are just fine in my view. Some extra processing from Google Photos, a decent level of selfies, basically a typical mid-range experience, which you can see here. You can give up the zoom, we don't have an impressive level of zoom here. And if it's too dark outside, the aperture isn't that generous. The filming is not very well stabilized, to be honest. But once again, this phone is not about the camera, it's about the projector and the long-lasting battery. The colors aren't half bad if you only look at the vegetation here and the flowers. And I think that's pretty much it as far as our gallery goes with 53 samples. Those are daytime shots. Now let's look at the low light ones. Honestly, it caught more light than I would have expected to. And this is a regular shot. This is the night mode shot, brightening up everything, making everything appear clear. Of course, the low light has its limitations, camera-wise, as you can see for yourself. And the microphones aren't that potent. Of course, also pretty shaky when stabilizing. Another video here. I mean, the 4K is pretty crisp in filming and the colors are fine if you're filming during the day. But stay put and don't pan too much, don't walk too much. You should be fine with just regular shot videos. Okay, so this is pretty much it about the camera. Let's talk about the connectivity. So I talked about connectivity. We have Wi-Fi 6, we have 5G, and this is what we achieve on the Wi-Fi test. Pretty solid if you ask me. I'm also rather confident that you can achieve easily at least 500 megabits on your connectivity. There's Bluetooth 5.2 available here. There's NFC available as well. You can also cast here, and we have the usual GPS, GLONASS, Beidou, Galileo, and things like that. Now, software-wise, there's not much to write home about. It's obviously Android. Here is the version with something called docOS 4.2 applied on top of our Android here. We also have extra specs, and by the way, you can also add extra RAM from here, up to 24 gigabytes extra taken from the storage. You can find legal information, certifications, and all of those things. And now I think is that part of the review where we talk about the special features. In order to access the special features, you should find a dedicated app here. Believe it or not, there's also a kids mode. Even if this phone is for I would say people who work in the forest, on oil rigs and dangerous jobs, it has a special mode for the kids. We also have FM radio, by the way, which is baked in, and also have a special gallery aside from the regular gallery for the FLIR thermal camera and all that. And even a game mode, if you want to do gaming, the phone is capable of gaming, don't doubt that. Okay, so I was talking about the tools before. Tool bag. So we have compass for your orientation in the forest. We have height measurement. We also have a torch, which is powered via the flash. You can also output an SOS system. We have a sound meter if you want to measure the decibels around you. Useful once again if you want to hear if there is potential damage to your ears and things like that. Protractor, mirror, alarm bell, magnifier, peak hanging, plumb bob, barometer, and finally the camping light. Camping light is very powerful. I'm actually worried I'm going to affect the camera. This is it. It should scare off the foxes, the bears. This is actually low brightness. We have highlight and extremely bright, huge brightness from these camping lights. We can also time it, use an SOS or quick flashing depending on the situation. So those are utilitary features of the phone aside from the whole FLIR thing. To manage the resources, we have here the system management with one-touch optimization, freeing more space, things like that. And we have other basic applications here. As I said before, I was about to leave the projector last, but I'm also going to show you other things. We have Android Auto here, have other wireless connection, NFC, casting, personal hotspot. The display has its own features, dark mode, auto rotate, reading mode, and more. Powerful vibration here from sound and vibration, gestures and keys. You have side key features which you can trigger. So one click can trigger this, sound recording, flashlight, screenshots, underwater camera even. Yes, you can do that, or SOS, or double clicks can trigger this. Of course, you can change it. You can also activate camping light related features for that button. Smart window as well. Then we have the security, accessibility, and I would say that's pretty much it. And now it's time for the projector demo. Are you ready? I sure am. Okay, so you're gonna watch me actually prepare this. I'm going to turn off the light. Okay, put the camera a bit towards the back. Maybe try an ultra wide angle of sorts. And now you should see the projector in action. So we simply go here towards where the projector is. Let's actually see. So P is for projector. Okay, you have an estimated duration here, how long the battery will last. And I just turned it on. And this is what it looks like at first sight. You also have, as I said before, a small wheel here, which you can rotate in order to increase the clarity and make the focus a bit better. But only if need be. It's a bit harder to wield this little wheel, but if the image gets clearer, it's well worth it. I feel that it's now getting clearer. This is the perfect clarity. Okay, so features that you can find here, let's actually see them. So we have the projector switch, which by the way turns off. The brightness, keystone correction is part of it, landscape projection, suspension ball, and more. Now, if I were to go to YouTube and access our channel, so it's GSMDome, Dome not done. Okay, this is what it looks like. We're going to go here and we're going to check out our review for the iPhone 17 Pro.
Hi guys, so here we are finally with the review of the iPhone 17.
And I'm going to do this. And as I start going more and more towards the back of the room, the diagonal size will increase quite a bit.
To test it and just check out how many photos you have here. I have taken 1,000.
I did a separate video on my sister channel where I actually revealed that the phone is able to project even 3 meters of size. This is my living room wall at the back, and as I said before, I keep going back more and more, and the image gets huge. And it stays pretty clear in spite of just having a 480 projector. So that's pretty cool.
And by the way, we have this brand new interface.
And the speaker also does a good job. My only drawback for this is that you don't have a special kickstand. So if you put it like this, you're going to find something to prop it up like this in order to properly enjoy it. That's my only drawback, finding a kickstand or an object for it. Okay, so we're at the end of the review. I showed you everything: projector, huge battery, camping lights, what have you, and the FLIR sensor. It's a toolbox. It's not just a phone, it's a toolbox, it's a power bank, it's more than one thing. So the pros and cons for the handset are as follows. On the pro side, integrated video projector, excellent clarity, even going past the promised diagonal. As I said before, our sister site, I made a video there. I'm going to show you as I list the pros and cons, so bear with me a bit. So this is a Mobilissimo, or sister site in Romanian, and this is the clip I did here.
Welcome back to mobilissima.ro. The folks at Blackview said that this Blackview XPLORE 2
So this is my wall. I'm something like 4 or 5 meters, and I actually started the test. This is the projection, and I started the measurement.
Yes, but I feel like it's still going, and I hope this tape measure doesn't let me down.
Even though they promised 2.5 meters, it's actually around 3.1 meters, and I'm sure you can even do more. Now, back to the pros and cons for the end of the review. So on the pro side, integrated projector, excellent clarity, huge 20,000 mAh battery, fast charge, 120 watts, very powerful LED light with SOS and strobe mode, solid construction, IP certification, military certification, enlarged battery life even with the projector on, and a bright screen, perhaps even more than I expected. Now on the cons, it doesn't have a kickstand. That's my main drawback. It's beefy and hard, 670 grams, almost 3 centimeters in weight. The photo camera is barely mid-range, it's between entry-level and mid-range. The sound is a bit modest. It's a bit weird to have it here at the bottom. I would have put it on the side or on the top maybe, but it's hard to also fit in a projector at the top and a speaker. At the end of the day, you're only limited by the projector if you have a darker environment. That's where it shines. If it's brighter around you, not that much to use. And Honestly, the price is well worth it at around 500-600 euros. So if you want a phone for your camping needs, this is pretty much it. But it's also for handyman. We have a lot of tools available here. That's pretty much it. If you go camping a lot and want to use a projector, I was actually pleasantly impressed by the Blackview XPLORE 2 projector. That's it from us. You can find in the description a link to go and buy it. Goodbye.